Viewers, Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar and 4 others who were on board the ill-fated flight have died in the tragic Baramati plane crash. The crash happened at around 8:45 a.m. when the plane was making its second approach to runway number 11. The plane took off from the Mumbai airport at 8:10 a.m. and in fact it established from Mumbai this morning, and the aircraft at 8:10 a.m. established contact with the Baramati ATC. In fact, it is around 8:18 that they established contact. What really went wrong? In the next 26 minutes, that is going to be the focus of the investigation as the AAIB initiates inquiry into the crash. Let's listen in to what the Aviation Minister had to say about the crash and the probe so far.
सुबह से ही जब से इंसिडेंट हुआ है तब से ही डीजीसीए को और एआईबी को भी अलर्ट करके उनके ऑफिसर को भी यहाँ पे साइट पे भेजने के लिए बोल दिया है और जैसे ही वो आएंगे उनकी जांच की वो भी शुरू हो जाएगी और लोकल यहाँ के पुलिस को भी बता दिया कि साइट को सुरक्षित कॉर्डन ऑफ करें, फेंसिंग करें ताकि वहाँ पे जो भी इन्वेस्टिगेशन के लिए चाहिए होगा उस तरह की परिस्थिति रहे.
The aircraft was absolutely fit to the best of our knowledge. The DGCA is investigating the matter. We are there with the DGCA team and they will tell us. Primarily, it appears that there was low visibility. Primarily, it appears that, the pilot could not see the runway and that's why he would have carried out
But
a
he has
misapproach.
already taken 2 loops, sir. How is it possible that he could not see?
The pilot will carry out a missed approach in case if he is not comfortable to land on the runway.
Yeah. When was the last security check done on the aircraft?
The aircraft was very well maintained. There was absolutely no problem in the aircraft. There was no technical failure in the aircraft.
This particular investigation, amidst the inquiry into the Baramati crash, the spotlight is on the pilot's track record. In 2017, Captain Sumit Kapoor was suspended. The suspension was for a period of 3 years. Now, we are told that this is because the pilot had tested positive for consumption of alcohol. Let's go across to Shefali. Shefali, now we are told that not one, but 2 incidents were there where the pilot tested positive. This is a very, very important information coming in because we don't know if it's directly connected to this, but it is a fact that he was suspended for a period of 3 years. Take us through the details.
Yes, Madhav. So as per what the details that we are getting in this particular case is, pilot Sumit Kapoor has been earlier was suspended for 3 years and breath analyzer, as we know that pilots go through breath analyzer tests, and with this particular pilot, which is Sumit Kapoor, first time he was found positive in year 2010 at Delhi when he was operating a Delhi-Bangalore flight. Second time he got positive in 2017 while he was operating a flight from Delhi to Guwahati. And after that, he was suspended for 3 years, the very same year. So we are not sure if this information can have any, is directly related to the particular incident right now. But this is something that can also be looked at during the course of investigation being done by AAIB.
Very, very important. The track record of the pilot certainly is going to be under the scanner. All aspects of whether there is pilot error, whether there is technical error, or there was a misunderstanding or misjudgment, all of that will be pieced together by, in fact, the investigators in this particular case, the AAIB. Let me quickly get in quick ground updates. Shefali, stay with us from Arunil and Nilesh as well. Arunil, you're at ground zero, the spot where the crash took place. Show us the terrain. I believe it is a kind of a tabletop runway where the runway itself is elevated, and there are experts who say that because it was early morning and the sunrise sometimes can cause visibility issues, it can create an illusion of the runway being present at a location where it is not. Take us through the topography of that location very quickly, Arunil.
Well, this is an uncontrolled tabletop runway, Madhav, from where I'm reporting from. This is the Baramati airstrip. Now, what exactly transpired? Give me a few minutes, Madhav, to explain. This is the entry point to the Baramati runway. Initially, the pilot in command communicated with the local ATC saying that the airstrip wasn't visible. A go-around was immediately initiated by the pilot in command. Later also, a second landing was attempted by the pilot in command. The pilot in command then again communicated communicated saying that the airstrip wasn't visible during the initial communication, and then within seconds the pilot in command then said that now the airstrip is visible and I am going to initiate landing. However, what unfortunately transpired was there is a low-lying field over here, a kind of a valley which is less than 100 meters from the airstrip. This is where the aircraft basically collided. It crashed over here. You can see the parts of the aircraft as well. They have been at a distance more than 100 meters. The parts of the aircraft can be seen. That is one part. The wheels can be seen at a distance of more than 50 meters from where the impact of the crash took place. Smoke could be seen billowing out of this crash site. There was a complete fireball which engulfed the area. Local villagers rushed to the spot to save the people, but unfortunately all the bodies were charred beyond recognition. This is what we understand, and people have also told us that Ajit Pawar's mortal remains could only be identified because of the watch, the wristwatch that he was wearing. Immediately the 5 people who were inside, they were taken to the nearby hospital, but they couldn't be saved. So all 5 of them who were on board this ill-fated chartered plane, Learjet chartered plane, crashed over here. All of them died because of this. Now, what are the possible reasons that the AAIB team that has been investigating over here may be looking at? One is whether there was any kind of a wind impact. It doesn't, the communication from the DGCA doesn't say so. It basically mentions about low visibility as one of the prime cause. Was it because of a pilot error? Was it because of a technical error in this flight? All these possible angles will be looked at by the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, which is on ground now. Other agencies are also here, including NDRF, including the local police, to control the situation and to assist in the probe.
All right, very shocking scene over there, Arunil. Indeed, let's get in a quick word from Nilesh as well, who's joining us. Nilesh, what is the scene at the hospital? The Civil Aviation Minister, the MOS Civil Aviation were all present, and I believe there's a steady stream of the supporters of Ajit Pawar who are also present over there. Take us briefly through what exactly has transpired at the hospital.
Well, yes, indeed, Madhav. Today marks an unfortunate day for the state of Maharashtra, in particularly, which has lost its stalwart leader, a leader who was known to have a connect with the people who have gathered here outside the hospital to catch a last glimpse. And as we speak, the hearse van is being prepared inside this premises. What we understand that moments from now, the mortal remains of DCM Ajit Pawar will be taken out in this van, which is being prepared, and then will be shifted to the nearest VP college, wherein the Antim Darshan, the last rituals will be performed, and later on early morning tomorrow, that is around 11 a.m. The last ritual will be performed, and just to catch a glimpse of their leader, that is DCM Ajit Pawar, the Karyakartas, the supporters, the lovers of Ajit Pawar have reached to the Baramati hospital from in and around the state of Maharashtra. We spoke to several Karyakartas who have reached out, traveling hundreds of kilometers since early.
All right, and the Pawar family also, of course, touching down on ground over there. They rushed from the national capital as well. Thanks so much for joining us with all those details. And Nilesh from the hospital. Arunil, of course, is reporting from the crash site, and Shafali also joins us live from Hyderabad. We'll have to quickly switch focus and take it across to our guest now. With us is Vayan Sharma, CEO of Chimes Aviation. We have CS Randhawa, who's the president of the Federation of Indian Pilots. Joining us also is Anurag Mittal, captain, check airman, as well as trainer, who's joining us on the show. Let me start with you first. Captain Randhawa, the question that is on many people's minds is that why is it that, in crash after crash that takes place, the lessons of the past have not been learned? Why do we have investigations if their reports are not going to be submitted in time? The same company had a crash in Mumbai. It's been over 2 years and the AAIB has not submitted a report. How are we going to learn from what went wrong, what could have possibly gone wrong, and improve our systems if our safety mechanisms are going to take so long to respond?
Madhav, I 100% agree with you. We've been questioning this to the Ministry of Civil Aviation after the 12th June crash of AI 171. Where we said that the 5 members in the AAIB, they do not have the expertise as required by Annex 13 and by ICAO Doc 9756 Part 1. And we have gone on record many a times, and now also we are in Supreme Court and we are challenging and we are asking for a judicial probe. because we have no faith. Now, as you rightly said, that 23, the inquiry is still not over. So this is a highly incompetent body. That is what I would say. And there should be no reason that a crash which has taken place at aircraft has gone beyond repairs, and you are taking more than 2 years to come to some conclusion. It is ridiculous. The same thing is happening on the AAI-171 crash. Okay, they are not able to find out the root cause whenever they're doing the root cause analysis. And we have been stressing upon that there are electrical problems. No one is ready to listen to us. The foreign media is also raked it up. The Foundation of Aviation Safety in US has made an exhaustive report and presented it to the US Senate on the AAI-171. But here in India, if you see, the credibility of AAIB is in question. So today's accident also, it's extremely unfortunate. But I would say now, firstly, I would like to tell you something about Baramati Airfield. Baramati Airfield is an uncontrolled airport, which is about 5,800, and the runway orientation is 1129. And once the aircraft is approaching Baramati, the controller initially in charge is from Pune. So Pune hands you over once you are victim-like.
We've actually reconstructed all that in sequence events. I want to get quick comments from the other panelists as well. Vayan Sharma, the larger question of our aviation safety culture, whether we're talking about flying schools, whether we're talking about the smaller airports, whether we're talking about chartered flights and chartered operators, or we're talking about regular commercial operators. The big question is that the safety oversight mechanisms and the kind of reports that are required, the speed, the alacrity, there's a lot that's left to be desired. Even in the past crashes, whether talking about Bangalore, Calicut, etc., the reports have taken a huge amount of time. They've overshot deadlines by massive margins of up to 6 months in some cases. What are we looking at, and why are we not serious enough? Is that somewhere the reason why we are continuing to see such crashes take place?
See, again, that is one facet, which is, what Captain Randhawa highlighted, that how much time does it take for AIB to come to a conclusion and give a report. The whole idea behind the report is to ascertain the cause so that it is not repeated going forward. So if 2 years, 3 years are taken just to ascertain the cause, so, there is that much of a time gap before any corrective action, if any is required, can be taken. That's one point. But here, there is another point which I'd like to bring, on the table. That, we saw this happen even when the CM, Mr. Reddy's aircraft had crashed. Normally with the VIP movements, what happens is, especially where you're landing at uncontrolled airfields and in VMC conditions, is that because of the importance of the person sitting at the back, sometimes the pilot gets pressurized in, pushing the envelope. I'm not saying it happened here, but it is definitely one of the factors which happen. That, you have a politician at the back who says, I've got 20,000 people waiting, I have a public address to make, where the pilot normally, if he does not see the runway, I'm assuming that when he couldn't see the runway, and there are no nav aids available at Baramati, which would mean that he would have probably gone in for what we call a GPS approach.
Okay. And let me bring in Captain Anurag Mittal on that as well. Captain Anurag Mittal, the question that many are asking also, of course, all aspects will be looked at, whether there was technical failure, what the weather conditions were, visibility conditions were, so on and so forth. But there's also information coming in that the pilot had tested breath analyzer positive twice. He was suspended for a period of 3 years in 2017. Surely that is going to be one of the factors that will have to be probed. No one is jumping to any conclusions at the moment, but that is an important factor from the investigator's point of view.
See, when it comes to pilot and pilot training, and you also brought up this point, like, okay, the AAIB has been not submitting the report. It's been 2 years. And why are we questioning the DGCA and of the outdated pilot rules and the pilot training? Well, you touched on that subject also, on pilot training, flight schools, etc., etc. So, and the panelists prior to me also mentioned the pressure that the pilot might be, because there's a VIP sitting in the back that he has to do a landing. There are, my view on this is like India, the aviation sector is growing exponentially. And what's going to happen is there's going to be a huge gap between pilot training, pilots, the quality of the pilots, and how things are executed. Very low time pilots as a result are now flying these airplanes because you can't find qualified people. And like you said, this gentleman, he had failed 2 breath analyzer tests and was suspended for 3 years. And what was the retraining done after 3 years? What did he just put in the cockpit? What did he get a retraining? And did he get into a drug and alcohol rehabilitation program and all that stuff? So
many serious questions that are emerging over there. Mittal, Captain Randhawa, Mr. Y.N. Sharma, I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. There are more questions and answers at this point of time, but certainly a very shocking incident that once again raises the culture of aviation safety in India and whether we really take it seriously as a government, as a system, as a country at all. That's a big question indeed. Slipping into a quick break for now.